Don't go up there! Careful, careful, careful. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Don't go up there. Very stupid. Don't go up there! Silly cyclist.
Welcome to episode 31 of Silly Cyclists. I'm your host Gaz145 and we'll be starting right off at number 10. Here's a clip from T1 Sutton. He's coming off on the slip road of a busy A road. 2 lanes it is. And you see this cyclist coming down the slip road the wrong way. What are you doing, you nutter? You can't cycle the wrong way up an A road. Potential impact speed is going to be huge. Here's a clip here from rogerhotuk at number 9. He's briefly stopped at some traffic, and I'm presuming the cyclist that comes up on his left on the pavement has mounted it to get around this what I'm presuming is short amount of traffic. And he continues along the pavement at around 20 miles an hour. Cycling on the pavement, be it if it's not shared use, really isn't a good idea. It's against the law for one, and you put other people in danger. Doing so at 20 miles an hour is very silly. Here's a clip here from alexwarrior 1 from Canada. And just watch the cyclist in front of us. Doesn't do any indication, just swerves across the road and onto the other side to continue cycling into the flow of traffic. That SUV was forced to brake heavily to avoid a collision there. Very silly thing to do. Number 7. You notice that the Mercedes in front is indicating. You can just see it there. Anywhere else in the video it's kind of hard to see, but the Mercedes is indicating from the start through to the end of the video. And you're going to see here lots of cyclists position themselves on the inside. This is something that's very common and is very, very silly. If you start off and that driver hasn't noticed you and doesn't check their blind spots and mirrors and continues their turn, then there's only one person that's going to get hurt. And unfortunately, that's going to be you. So seriously, don't stay in that position. You notice the guy at the front on the road bike, he did filter up the inside but positioned himself perfectly in front of it. That's where you want to position yourself. Either position yourself right behind or right in front. Here we have a clip of what I'm going to presume is boyfriend and girlfriend. And unfortunately she didn't have a bike, so he gave her a lift. There's many ways to give people a lift on bicycle, and I really don't think this is the best way. It doesn't look very safe, and cycling in the door zone is a real killer. You're really putting yourself in danger there. Seriously, just walk or take the bus. Here you see the cyclist mounts pavement because he doesn't think he can fit through that gap. But, it's sizable. You may want to take it a little bit slow because you never know when that car's coming out. But don't join the road without looking again. You shouldn't be cycling on the pavement as it is. And, just be careful. The traffic lights here are green, but because it's Oxford Circus, the bus isn't moving anywhere. There's lots of pedestrians about. Here you see I'll have a look at that gap. Really not one you can cycle down. I hear a few dings coming from behind me. This guy's dinging on his bicycle belt. I shout out to him, slow down. What are you doing, you nutter? But he still seems to go, and you'll notice that as soon as he gets to the front, the bus starts moving. Seriously, he was really close to being a silly cyclist sandwich. Number 3 here, again indicating cars here, and people stopping up next to it. Absolute nutters. At first, I wasn't sure if I agreed where Skrzypczyk Bass, sorry, I don't know how to say your name, positioned himself. But then I saw that he is actually turning left. So I think this is a good position. You're attempting to block other cyclists from putting themselves in danger. Unfortunately, it doesn't work in this case. And this guy has a near clipless moment where he can't get his foot in, and that driver is forced to stop. Luckily, this driver did check his blind spot and did stop. If he didn't, who's the one that's going to get hurt? Not the driver. That's all I'm saying. Here we have a case of silly cyclists see, silly cyclists do. So the first guy mounted the pavement and got off of it alright. The second woman, no, not a good idea. That is very silly. Lucky again that the driver saw your silly mistake and acted on it. As a cyclist, a vulnerable road user, you need to make sure you are careful about where you position yourself. Number 1. Clip here from WellingtonBikeCam 01, and shortly you're going to see a cyclist come around on the right hand side and cut across onto the pavement. In doing so, coming very close to that woman and child. You shouldn't be cycling on the pavement as far as I'm aware in this case, and doing so with a coffee mug in one hand and covering your brakes in the other, really not a good idea. Around pedestrians, as we've already know, we've seen it plenty of times, you need to take care. Pedestrians can be unpredictable, especially when they're not expecting cyclists moving faster than pedestrians on the pavement. Take care on the pavement and look out for those vulnerable users. Here's our good cyclist monkeysnutscom, and you notice there, just did a nice shoulder check and indicate. Could have been a little bit earlier, but still very good and something you don't often see. that's it for episode 31 of Silly Cyclists. I did have quite a lot of submissions in a period that I was out of action. And I'm going to be rolling as many of those as I can over to the next one. So if you didn't see a clip here, don't worry, I'm going to try and fit them in. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.